Yeah, so I want to talk about our geopolitics in our current affairs and individually as people. This is our current affairs. So we have an interesting phenomenon with the little hat people, and it's not something that's too mysterious. Okay, so the thing is, little hat people aren't actually believers in God mostly. People aren't even aware of this, but like it's something like 85% of them are secular non-believers of a God. They don't believe in Yahweh. They don't believe in any God. They don't believe in a created world. They don't believe in Jesus. They don't believe in Moses. Or, that maybe it's too far to say about 85% of these people, because what they believe, what do they believe? Scheming, being selfish, being dishonest, being anti-Christian. That's like 100% of the Jewish people. But, what do they believe? Maybe like 10, 15% of them supposedly believe in Yahweh. That's even, I don't think, correct. They believe in the Talmud. There are, you're dealing with a kind of people who they're not actually Jewish by biblical standards. Because in the Bible, Jewish is just a tribal line. And the tribe line is dedicated by the male members. So it's a male membership. You can even be adopted into the tribe. So it's not even a genetic thing, it's a spiritual thing. But it's a male tribe line thing. But the Orthodox Jewry goes by a female matriarchy. So this is not people who follow Yahweh's decrees, and they don't recognize Yeshua as the Messiah. And that's, Chuck Meisler make a pretty good argument as to saying, well, the people who created the Torah gave us a prophecy of Yeshua and the New Testament. Now, many people today in America, they see Christianity as a device for the progressives to control the masses, okay? Whether they believe in supernature or not, that's how most people in America feel. Most people claiming to be Christians, they're, just a bunch of criminals, virtue signaling, and they think anybody who actually believes in the gospel is stupid and deserves to be taken advantage of. That's most people who claim to be Christians. All kinds of permutations of that, because is it most people who are in the name of Christ will be like, we got to defend God's chosen people, the Jews. I think in my experience, it's most people. Okay, most people will say this. My whole life, and you can't argue with these people because they are not actually human beings. They're religiously dedicated Satanists. That's what they are. They're religiously, they're satanic. That's why you can't reason with them when they say, "Oh, the Jews are God's." What's Jews? The Jews who aren't actually Jewish and who don't believe in God? It's a crazy concept. Okay, but it's not. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not making things up. That's just the reality of it. The people who claim to be Jewish aren't Jewish by the biblical standard, but they are people who don't believe in God but self-identify as Jews. Okay, this is on the large. This is what they are. They're atheists who don't believe in God, but they believe in self-identifying as Jews by some kind of tradition, the way of the family, and who else knows what else is motivating these people. In my experience, they're always lying. Every Jewish person I grew up with was a godless liar. For what reasons, you can only speculate, but that's just the reality of it. When you think about things like modern Israel and the political discussions, it's almost sick to see it, like amongst 5 Jewish people, like on a mainstream outlet, discussing Israel. You see like 5 Jewish people on a mainstream outlet discussing Israel. That's a grotesque expression. It's a grotesque expression, because nothing true is going to come from these people, and they're going to kind of scapegoat some innocent people about it. So what's going on in Israel, concretely, we can see that the Gazan children are being decimated by rich, powerful, cruel psychopaths. Okay, that's pretty apparent from a secular point of view, from a rational, material world point of view. The wealthy people are decimating the children of Gaza. Apparently, that's like, can't really argue around it. There's liars who are saying it's not happening, and only Hamas is being targeted. There's like some kind of a collateral damage, but it's understandable. I'm not exaggerating. That's the dialogue we see, but it's worse than that, because what you see, the scapegoating is saying Abraham's responsible, Moses is the bad guy. Any of these Christian believers, they're really the ones mucking things up in the world. Why are we fighting Israel? All of them faithful Christians, they're mucking the world instead of just getting down to the truth. They're playing all these kind of games. These deluded people. Like that's the dialogue we see. That's what's going on right now. So it's a grotesque dialogue, is my point. It's a grotesque dialogue. But simplifying things, like Jewish people are not Jewish by a biblical standard, because biblical standard, we can go into the weeds here. It's, what are we actually talking about here? We're going to be semantics, because there's a Jewish tribe line identification. Is that what a Jew is? Supposedly, yeah, Jewish tribe line, Judean and Jew, synonymous. Or are we talking about Judah as a nation state, and the follower, that this nation state was dissolved? The Romans had dissolved this in 70 A.D., okay? So there's no Jewish nation state. So is it this diaspora Jewish nation state? But now we're talking about a anti-Christian, specifically anti-Christian diaspora. Are they actually Jews? The grotesque argument, Jesus was a Jew, so you're just an anti-Semite. You don't believe in Jesus. That's a grotesque argument from a grotesque people. This is, claiming to be Christians. They're making that grotesque argument. And you're never going to be able to reason with those people, because they're coming from a very satanic religious perspective. They're not coming from a human perspective. They're coming from a satanic religious perspective. So it's like, wait, do you know that these are... The guys who crucified Jesus, he called them the brood of vipers, okay? He acknowledged their... lineage to Abraham, but he said, you guys spiritually are a brood of vipers. And really, when you talk about Jews, they're dealing with a matriarchal identification, okay? They're self-identified as Jews through their matriarchy. And it should be grotesque to understand. It's a grotesque sentiment to understand. Jewish people believe that any spawn, any descendants from a Jewish woman are divine beings, but not everybody is. So only Jewish women are spawning divine beings. That's their Orthodox belief. It's pretty grotesque, but it's a clear indication that these are satanic people by definition. Like, Satanism doesn't mean anything. It means you're a liar who's selfish and narcissistic. That's Satanism. But this is clearly these Jewish people. But it's not just Jewish people extended to the Catholics, because when they're telling you that these are God's people, they're not being faithful in any sense at all. They're saying there is no God, but evil is good. And they're like this faceless void that's like really, like if you look at quantum physics, dark matter, what is dark matter? It's this body of stuff. That's what it is. These guys are with all their lies, claiming to be whatever they are, they're just dark matter in our world. But as a human being, we can look at the Bible and go, okay, wait a minute. Jewish people are not Jewish, so what? Who cares? Catholics are not faithful, human beings. They're not. Their fruit is not good. They're poison to the land. Like, who cares? Well, those are important things to understand. So if people recognize that Jewish people are not merely not Jewish, but they're also fundamentally evil, okay? And that Catholics are not Christians, they're fundamentally evil. That's something humanity could embrace, okay? Because as the Bible describes, the gospel is good. It's good for the people. It's not only good in an afterlife setting, it's good for the immediacy. That's the Bible's gospel. Now, when you're listening to the Catholics, they're going to give you the satanic gospel. No doubt, every word they say, the first thing they want to tell you is something that's completely anti-scriptural. I've never met a Catholic not go right for some kind of Satanism and claim that that's the gospel. It's not. And for simple reasons that can be understood simply.